Will Smith, how is he doing today, Dave? Or how is he doing just coming out of the game after taking that ball off his right hand?
From what I understand, he's sore. There was some swelling. Got an X-ray. X-ray's negative, so that's a positive. Day to day, but yeah, it's going to be hard to imagine him in there tomorrow.
Are you going to have to bring someone in potentially and stand by, or you feel good just with Dalton being the only guy?
Yeah, we're talking about it, talking to the trainers and trying to see if it makes sense to bring someone. So we haven't made that decision, but most likely we'll probably bring someone.
With this loss tonight, just with the offense falling short, what were you seeing just from the at-bats and falling short on just some key opportunities?
I think, tonight, you never want to say that one inning kind of win or loses a game, but the second inning, bases loaded, nobody out, and I just felt we had two bad at-bats and didn't come up with anything. We had the starter on the ropes and had a chance to, get a lead, get the starter out, and, building that inning was fantastic. I thought the at-bats, the taking of the walks, and then we get to a position and we didn't finish. And again, I just think that, there are a couple of at-bats there that just, I think that flipped the game. And it flipped the momentum. And the bottom half, McCutcheon hits a homer, and, and we just really couldn't put anything else together.
How much does that moment kind of loom the rest of the game, too, especially with the other chances you guys had not being able to cash in on?
It looms. It loomed, and it still bothers me. I think the thing is that, as we've been talking about, is your first at-bat could be your most important at-bat of the game, and it could determine the outcome of a game. And so, we've got to collectively get all of us on board understanding that, the magnitude of each at-bat, each situation, and right now we're not all there. We're not consistently. And so, yeah, I mean, it flipped the momentum, the game itself, and there's a lot of guys that are still trying to take good at-bats and win pitches and take team at-bats, and other times we're going away from that, and I sound repetitive where it's got to get better, and it's not easy. Hitting is not easy, but I do believe that having the right approach, the right mindset, the right urgency in our particular at-bat lends itself to better results.
When you don't cash in that first chance, because it sort of feel like you're kind of pressing to make up for that chance by swinging too big, getting too big in your approach when you guys do develop a chance later on, especially the next inning you guys load the bases again.
Yeah, no, you know what? I thought the next inning would load the bases, and then I thought Freddie hit a ball hard, and it was a double play ball. Got into a good count. So those things are going to happen, but I just feel that you start chasing and you start, it's just at-bat quality in those situations has got to be heightened. It does.
We've heard so much about the talent in this lineup. How does this keep happening? And the offensive production being what it's been the last 2 months?
I think it's just more of, we've talked about team at bats, and I think that we've had some guys that have bought into that and consistently are doing that. And, I just think that, it can't draw dead in a certain part of the order when innings are built. And, so, to start innings, to build innings, to finish off innings, there's a lot of kind of variables that go into scoring runs consistently. Certainly if you're not just slugging. And so it's a nuanced answer. I don't have the answer. I do believe that the guys that we have in the room are capable of putting together consistent team at-bats of urgency from the first pitch on. But at the end of the day, I'm sure our players are echoing the same message that we just got to get it done. I can talk about it as much as I want, but we got to get it done. That's just the bottom line, and I don't have an answer.
Do you have an awareness of the opportunity you're missing? What the Padres are doing? They've lost 4 in a row, 8 out of 10. You could have pulled away.
I'm very much aware of that, but you know, they're feeling the same thing we are, and we've got to control what we can control, and we're certainly not. We're not.
You said in San Diego that the message about the at-bats you trusted that would kind of spread on its own. Is there a point where you might need a meeting?
You know, I think it's. I know the message landed, but you know, when it comes down to it, there's got to be action, performance, consistent performance. So I don't know that answer.
Obviously, the two ABs kind of played out oppositely. Is that just not kind of recognizing the need to just get a ball in play in that kind of spot?
Yeah, I mean, that's a situation where you get shorter with your swing. You use the big part of the field, and you've got to drive in a run. And the big swings, the chase, you know, taking pitches in the zone, chasing balls out of the zone. It's like, you know, if you have a smaller, you know, approach to just driving that first run in, then, you know, other things can happen. But, you know, that's part of it. So, yeah, it's frustrating for all of us.
Where did the ball kind of get Will? Is it on like the back of the hand?
On the back of the hand, yeah.
Is it something that you guys have to think about an IL when you talk about bringing someone here? Or are you hopeful that regardless you can avoid that?
I'm hopeful we don't have to put him on the IL. We'll know more tomorrow when he wakes up. You know, see if the swelling dissipates. But yeah, we can't afford to lose him. But I guess we'll know more, you know, in the coming days. But yeah, we're probably going to bring someone just to kind of, you know, cover our bases.
Shohei may not be feeling well, but his speed is still there, which is a good thing.
Shohei's, you know, doing anything he can, given his the way he feels, his body feels right now. He's, you know, he's fighting in the batter's box. He's taking extra bases, whatever he can to help us win. And so we appreciate that. And yeah, I mean, but it takes all of us collectively. But he's doing what he can.
How he's feeling today? Feeling
He's
better?
still not there. He still doesn't feel as strong. In a better place, but certainly not there. And we still, because of that, we just don't have a date on a day on when he's going to start next. We don't.
Did he kind of surprise you? Like he tried to steal the bases, like even though he has a coughing and also like have the conditions and stuff?
No, it didn't surprise me. I think that he's a competitor. He's trying to help us win. So if he's on the baseball field, if it means going back and tagging up to get to second base to get in scoring position, he's going to do that. And so whatever it takes, he's doing that.
Dave, you mentioned urgency pregame. In terms of at this time in the calendar in September, how do you kind of balance that, you know, urgency with almost counting down the days to October where you expect to be?
You know, for me, I'm not doing any countdowns. I'm thinking about Skeens tomorrow, how we're going to, you know, put some runs on the board to beat the Pirates. Yeah, I think they're two separate points. And, you know, I expect us to play with urgency from here on out.
What was the concern level when Dalton also took that ball off his hand and obviously he stayed in? But...
Yeah, you know, it was concerning. I'm happy he's okay. You know, I don't like the swinging of a 3-1 pitch that hit you either. But we made it out okay, and I'm happy about that.